My homepage has been left pretty messed up after my last couple of videos. Recently I've been paying more attention to the interpublic dramas between content creators all over the place because that's what YouTube seems to think I want. There's no short supply of drama, and if you heard me talk about it already, then you already know how I feel about it. Drama feeds drama, which in turn feeds drama because that's how this whole thing works. Creators, even when they say they don't want it, will capitalize on it because it's like a renewable revenue stream. So the magical drama rabbit that I've pulled from the hat today is iDubbbz versus Sam Hyde and the Froggy Fresh situation. If you don't know what happened because the rock you live under isn't porous enough, essentially iDubbbz banned Froggy Fresh from Creator Clash for associating with Sam Hyde, who is on the record insulting iDubbbz and his wife publicly more than once. That's sort of understandable, right? Like, no matter what you think of any party involved, iDubbbz would just be a huge pussy if he wasn't standing in solidarity with his partner. It's the chivalrous thing to do, and I respect that. What I don't respect is the misuse of accusations that have serious consequences. iDubbbz finally, after leaving a bigger cliffhanger than the Boondock Saints 2, made a video addressing the situation. In that video, he shows numerous instances in which Froggy and Sam Hyde say less than tasteful things about him, his wife, and the event. You don't really need 26 minutes to say, I defended my partner, that's what this is about. But this wasn't about defending himself, his partner, or his event. This was about calling Sam Hyde a piece of shit and capitalizing on his own drama. So why am I talking about it? If it's such a huge nothing burger where everyone involved likely knows there's monetary gain to the situation, then why even mention it at all? Well, it's because iDubbbz said something incredibly dumb, and I want to talk about that. See, in those 26 minutes, the words that I personally heard the most were Sam Hyde and harassment. iDubbbz, a public figure with a partner who is also a public figure, got publicly insulted by other public figures more than once. He actually has the gall to call this harassment, which is laughable at best, and if you don't know why, then I'll explain a little bit of it to you. Harassment is something that is dangerous and can have legal repercussions. Getting insulted as a public figure doesn't exactly constitute harassment, because nobody's legally required to say that they like you. They can insult the hell out of you as long as it isn't defamatory, and if you aren't involved, then they're just talking shit behind your back. Harassment would be if one of these content creators told their fans to spam your DMs or your YouTube comments, or to approach you and bother you in public, or to disrupt your YouTube channel with heavy spam or flags, or to threaten to send more of their fans after you. Calling your partner a slut because she runs an OnlyFans account might be incredibly insulting, but it isn't harassment just because you say it is. It can evolve into harassment, but the current state of it is just an insult, and that's really what this is all about. Accusing somebody of harassment can be very consequential. I'm not a lawyer, I'm no legal, so this isn't any kind of legal advice, but here's my current knowledge of what harassment actually is. There are two kinds. There's civil harassment and criminal harassment. Civil harassment is when somebody directly bothering the hell out of you, despite you asking them to leave you alone, does things like spamming your DMs, telling fans to spam you with stuff, approaching you in public just to insult you, doxing your location, any number of things that you have asked them directly not to do and they are still directly doing to you while you are involved. This doesn't include people talking publicly about you in conversations that you aren't a part of. Regardless of whether or not it's insulting, just talking about you a lot isn't harassment, especially when you have 7.5 million subscribers. People have the right to not like you and your partner, and they have the right to talk about not liking you and your partner as long as it isn't defamatory. I mentioned that there were two kinds of harassment. Criminal harassment's effectively the exact same thing, but with the intent to commit harm, so threatening somebody, making them fear for their safety, and stalking would constitute criminal harassment, but those things don't apply to this situation. iDubbbz, as a creator with such a wide reach and such a large fan base, shouldn't be so quick to say something that may be potentially defamatory. I mean, let's face it, if Froggy Fresh and Sam Hyde have never actually by definition harassed him, then accusing them of harassment is grounds for a defamation lawsuit. Just as a businessman, iDubbbz should be considering his responses a lot more carefully, and this was a bad situation in which he may have unintentionally screwed himself. That's just my outsider perspective though. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. Don't take my legal advice for it. This is speculation. At the end of all of this, I think every party involved has said absolutely terrible things. If you're one of those double-edged sword gonks who forgets that the blade also has a tang, then you'll definitely have to take the side of somebody in the wrong here. The fact is that nobody handled this well. Everyone involved said some terrible things. None of them deserve support for any part of this situation, and one being worse than the other doesn't mean they both aren't bad. This isn't a situation where you have to pick the lesser of two evils. There are other content creators who may make the exact same shit and deserve your support just as much. You can actually pick the no evil at all, I just want to watch entertaining content pathway, and ignore these fucking soy calf moguls for capitalizing on their infighting altogether. Thank you, and have a nice day.